We have so many stories in our lives, but our stories are not always heard. On the Hear My True Story podcast, we tell our own true stories.
Before the white car parked, our head teacher had scattered. Looking at him, I could only see his tie that was flying backwards, waving at us, and he disappeared in thin air.
I want to share my life story. I want to share my voice with the people because I know that just a small joke I can tell through this podcast, it will make someone smile.
When you ask me what I fear most in life, I would definitely respond to you and say it's fear itself.
We are fighting for togetherness. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting to end injustice.
You don't have to be a storyteller or writer because, guess what? Life writes the best stories.
Hear my true story.
I remember there's an old woman who came and told my father, your children are not disciplined. They don't greet us when they walk by us. It was a meeting for the village. And I was called and I was told, no, you need to greet people. You can't just walk. It was a village meeting with a local chairman person, with every elder in the village.
Wow.
And so that was greeting from my being raised up as a kid. And then I moved to Germany where you find someone in your flat and you tell them, hello, guten Morgen. They don't respond to you. They look at you and they just walk like a dog. Actually, dogs here great. I don't know which animal doesn't greet. Maybe, I don't know.
This is your favorite time of the week with your number one podcast.
Hear my true story.
My dear listeners, you are welcome this wonderful week with me, Otako, your host on Hear My True Story podcast with
Carol J. Smith.
Yes, that is Carol J. Smith, our guest on this podcast today, this week. So, well, in this particular episode, we are going to talk about culture.
With you every week. Hear my true story.
I come from the eastern part of Uganda. That's the Busoga region. The Busoga greet. I'm telling you, my tribe, it greets. They can greet you in the morning and they ask you how you are, how your goats are, if you have them, how your chickens are, if you have them, how your children are, if you have them. Did you sleep well? What did you eat in the morning? Was it nice? Like a greeting in my tribe where I come from in Uganda, it is actually a time when people get to know each other. They get to know each other, they get to share, communicate with each other, share information happening in the village. As like they are concluding the greeting, they say, oh, by the way, did you know that so and so and so lost their goat? Did you know so and so and so has a baby? So that's now, communication. That's a culture that I had. That's when I came to Germany and I was so shocked that here, even hello cannot be replied. You walk and you find someone, tell them hello. They don't reply to you and they just continue walking.
Yeah, I believe every person who comes from another country, another continent, they have experienced that where you say, even some people, even some with whom you work with, like I have friends who work somewhere and they're not being greeted. You say good morning to someone and they just look at you and walk away. And I feel like this is a very nice way to start your work. Yeah. It is a very nice way to start your job. It's a very nice way to start your day. Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, if you're working, like for me, when I started where I work from now, I used to come in the morning and say, yeah, hello, good morning, how are you? Yeah, some respond, but there are people who don't respond. And it is okay because I got now to learn the culture. Yeah, it's okay, people here don't respond when you greet them, but I've done my role. I've said hello to you. I've greeted you. In the beginning, when I used to say hello to people and they don't respond to me, I became so sad. I was not so happy. I started asking myself, well, who in their life can be like such a human being? They greet you and they don't respond. I was not always happy about that. But then I got to learn about the German culture. People here don't actually find greeting as part of their culture. Someone wakes up in the morning, even though when they're living in the same house, they don't say hello to each other. But from when I grew up in the morning, it was a first thing to do in the morning. Actually, I remember when I woke up and I didn't greet my father to ask him, good morning, how was your night? They punished me for that. How can you wake up in the morning and you don't say hello to anyone in the house, in the household? It was part of it. And also in the village, if you didn't greet people in the village when you bypassed them, that was a topic for the village meeting. People could meet and say, so-and-so's son is not greeting us in the village. I remember there's an old woman who came and told my father, your children are not disciplined. They don't greet us when they walk by us. It was a meeting for the village. And I was called and I was told, no, you need to greet people. You can't just walk. It was a village meeting with a local chairman person, with every elder in the village. Wow. And so that was greeting from my being raised up as a kid. And then I moved to Germany, where you find someone in your flat and you tell them, hello, guten Morgen. They don't respond to you. They look at you and they just walk like a dog. Actually, dogs here greet. I don't know which animal doesn't greet. Maybe, I don't know. But I find that was shocking to me. I was really not so happy, but now I learned how to deal with it. When I tell people good morning and they don't respond, well and good. Before I was always hurt by it, but I don't know about you. What is your experience with that culture shock? Greetings in Germany.
You know me, I have an attitude. So if I greet you, you don't respond. I also don't greet you, and that is the end of it. I greet, you don't respond. Ciao. It's okay. That's life, and that's like, unfortunately. So for me, where I had the hardest time was talking to people. Like, I'll try to make a conversation because I'm a very talkative person, and someone shows no interest, and so that really hurt me. For me, so greeting someone and they don't reply, okay, we are just bypassing each other. Maybe if it is someone where I'm really like socially in contact with them like every day, that also like hurted me mostly. But right now, I don't care. I say hi, you don't say hi. Sorry, it's okay. I tried, and I cannot force you to say hi back. Yeah. But of course, at the beginning, it is always difficult. You have to first find, because if you grew up in another culture where it is like a normal thing, and you come here where it is nothing, you have to really find ways how to cope up with your emotions and your culture,
I mean, how was it for you when you grew up in Uganda, in your culture?
In Uganda,
greeting.
Of course, you have to greet mom every day. You go from everyone to everyone, even the youngest kid. You say good morning. How did you sleep? And it is not just good morning. Rather, did you sleep well? If someone was sick before, how do you feel? Is the sickness better? Is it worse? To show that you care. And it was really a very compulsory thing for everyone to do in the morning. And if you don't do it, that was really a problem. You would even be beaten almost. Yeah, but I used to always greet. I never had problems with greeting. I always greeted people in the morning. Only my cousin, she never used to like greeting. For her, she was being beaten all the time because she did not like greeting mom. And when she was sick, she expected to be treated like a princess. And when someone else is sick, she didn't want to care. She never even asked, how do you feel? And that my mom was really getting pissed off because of that. And my other sister, she was really getting pissed. She's like, oh, okay. If you don't say how I'm doing when I'm not okay, I will not say it again. So she also learned during that process because she was taught in a hard way. Yeah.
I mean, for me, for my dear listeners, those who live in Germany, those who are Germans, don't take it bad that I'm saying that people here don't greet. There are some people don't greet, others do greet. when you say hello to them, when you say good morning to them. I have an experience where towards my school, I used to walk. It was not so a long distance. So I used to walk, and every morning I could bypass a parent with his 2 toddlers in the kindergarten. That parent, I could say hello to her. I could say Guten Morgen, good morning, and she could respond. Every day I was walking to school, I could meet this particular parent because, German people are structured. So, you can meet them in that time when they're taking their kids to the kindergarten. And when you don't meet them, either they came earlier or maybe the kids are sick. And you can also know the reason, maybe this person today didn't meet them. So maybe they are sick or maybe they came earlier. Or it's me who's late. So I could meet this particular parent and could always respond. And in the same way, I could also meet another parent with one kid who is in their 6 or 7 years. And I could greet this parent, Guten Morgen, hello. That parent didn't respond. You see? So you could see the difference that I'm meeting 2 people from the same region, same color, perhaps from the same regions or maybe cultures, but they are not responding. One is responding. Yeah. And that's where I realized they are people. And towards my place of work, I walk there. There are particular people I meet every morning. I've been saying good morning to them every time. And they smile to you, tell them good morning, and they answer you, you also answer them. You continue walking very happy, and you feel the morning starting so happy. And also there are some other people that don't respond. That's where I found my culture shocks, but then I reduced on my greeting. There's a time when I was greeting one of my colleagues at work, asking them a lot of questions, and I realized they are not happy with it. So I stopped. I literally stopped. Yeah, I learned the hard way. I stopped. I said, no, to you, I'm not greeting you in that detail. I leave my detailed greeting to my mother and the people from Uganda. And then there's another culture shock that we want to close right now. But my dear listeners, you can give me some few minutes. There's a culture shock that I learned here on the table. The table manners when you are eating. People talk while eating, and people don't use phones on a table, on an eating table. So I am invited in my first weeks when I got to know my girlfriend. And then there's a time when I visited the parents, and I was on the eating table. Of course, my German was not good, but they were talking English. And I was just eating and not talking. Because where I grew up in Uganda, the table manners when you're eating food, you are not allowed to talk. Actually, when you talk, you are punished or you're thrown out from the eating circle, or maybe call it eating table if you have a table in your household. But we used to sit in the circle, and they could put food in the middle, and all the children are in the circle, and the father is seated on a table somewhere, a smaller table with his food, and the mother is seated with the kids in the circle. And you do a mistake of talking when people are eating. They could punish you or maybe throw you out from the table or from the circle. That's how I grew up. So when I come to Germany, eating while not talking was kind of like not a good sign of being happy with the food, or maybe you don't like the food, or maybe something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But yet for me, it was the table manner that you don't talk while eating. That always affected me. That clashed with my culture. It clashed with my culture. I was thinking, who talks while eating? How can I manage it? And the time I tried to do it, food choked me. Food choked me. I don't know about you. What is your experience about the table manners, eating culture, eating manners here in Germany?
We were also not allowed to talk while eating, because maybe you would spit food to someone, or in the food where we are eating, everyone is speaking food from. Yeah, we were also not allowed. But for us at home, it was not so so much. you would talk, but also not tell conversations. Let's say you would say, "Could you please pass me this?" You were allowed to ask that, but not telling a story. Now my day was like this. We had like story times in the evening before bed, so we had time to tell all the stories. But eating, it was really also respected at home. It was really respectable time, no talking, and also like because we used to sit down and like putting the hand on the ground. That was really also not acceptable. They would not cut, but they would hit you, and then you fall in the food. Those things. Huh?
Yeah.
So there were so many small things. I was even recently talking about it with my friends here. Like, why were they mistreating us? Yeah, that's what we were saying. But if you look at it, like it wasn't mistreating us, but still there were small things, where you could tell someone, "Hey, don't do this." But I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. But let me tell you something. Yeah? I have tried to learn how to be with some table manners. I don't usually use the phone on my eating table when I'm eating food. The phone is away. And I've tried to learn how to eat while talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I learn not to choke myself because I'm trying to integrate into the system. But then there's an experience that I experienced when I had someone on the table who were using their phone while eating. Not once, twice. And this person was from my culture. I was not so happy. Even I moved out and I said, no one can sit on the table and be on the phone and we are eating and you are on the phone. You're answering messages. You are calling people on the phone. And I was like, what's wrong with this guy? How can you be on a phone when people are eating? I was so not happy like a Germany. That's how I'm so integrated in the system, I'm telling you.
You are on another level, my friend.
So I was not so happy. The other Germans were not even minding about it, but I was not so happy.
You felt offended.
Yeah, I felt offended. You on the phone? When people are eating? I was so offended than the Germans who were on the table.
This thing of calling, like let's say you're with people and for you on your phone, I really also don't like it so much. If it is not a very like an emergency, I don't expect someone to the whole time be on their phone or like calling people. I also don't like it. If you want to talk to someone, go outside, tell people, hey, this is very important. I'm going outside to pick it or to talk with this person. Yeah, but also on the table, that is not nice. Yeah. But I don't think I would have reacted like you. No,
I did not burst out, but inside me, I was asking myself, I was trying to reflect. I was not so happy. Why would you be on a phone, on a table when we are eating? No, let me tell you something. People who are not living in Germany, maybe those who are thinking of coming to Germany, the time for eating is the time when people share about their day. People talk about how their day was, what they're planning, what's not right with them. It's a time to converse and get to know each other. Even at home, maybe even though when someone you have visited, it's the time when they get to know you more during the time of food and eating. But which is understandable because people here in Germany, there's no time. I don't know whether you realize it, that the culture here about time is different from where we come from. There's no time. So every time someone is not there. So it's only during eating that you talk about it and maybe share with each other how your day was, what are you planning, are there any other gigs, what else would we do together? That's when you get to know someone really. So if you're coming to Germany as an immigrant, get to know that, the culture is different in terms of eating manners, eating table manners. Yeah. But that's how integrated I am.
You're very integrated. I could not even imagine. But wow, congratulations. You deserve a German passport already.
You guy. If they were giving out for obeying the rules, I think I'd be one of them. I'm telling you. You know,
I'm not
people
good
here.
at obeying rules.
So you don't obey rules. So it means when the light is red for you, cross.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, for any listener who's not in Germany, let me tell you something. The Germans pay attention to traffic lights. There's when we were in Cologne in 2017 with a group of Ugandans. We had gone for a festival. So when we are there, we are moving in a group of black people walking on the streets of Cologne. Yeah. Then the light was red. For us, we just crossed. All the other people were waiting. We waited. There was no car. We looked left, right, left. There's no car. And we crossed. I'm telling you, people were on the traffic light. We are not happy. We are really not so happy. They were really not so happy. How could you just cross when the light is red? It's red. They are not happy. If you ask me now, and when I'm on the traffic light and see someone crossing when it's red, I'm not happy. I feel like, why don't you try to be a role model to the children? When it's red, stop.
When there are children there, I wouldn't. I don't do that. Usually when there are children there, I don't. If I first look, is Polizei there? No. Other children there? No.
This is what I can tell you. Me, when the light is red, when I'm walking, I stop. I don't cross over. Until, even though there is a car or no car, I stop. That's how integrated I am in German.
But me also, I would say it's mostly more or less like because I'm very good at being late. That is my problem. I'm really not really German yet. I'm so good at being late. So sometimes I'm very time conscious. Oh my God, I need to catch my train, and I'm those people who are running for their train. So like if it is red and I'm seeing my train, I'm running, Yeah. But if I don't have any termine, I'm not time conscious, then I wait always. Yeah.
Well, good for you. Me with that one, I try to catch my bus. If I'm to travel, I'm going anywhere in the morning, I have to look because I don't use the bus, I don't use the train, I use the bicycle. But I have to calculate my time if I can really catch my next appointment. I think it's also a culture shock because in Uganda, for our dear listeners who don't understand maybe where Uganda is, it's in East Africa, time is there, but time is not our master. Ugandans try to be masters of their time.
Yeah.
In Germany, time is the master. People move with time. If time stops, everyone stops.
Yeah, true.
That's a culture shock for me. I really find it really challenging that you have to do everything in that structured time at the right time. Everything, the trains on their own time. You miss one train, so you have missed another appointment. I miss chaos. Do you know that I grew up in a country where there is a lot of chaos. There's no structure. There's no time management. Everything is a surprise. Everything is a shock. So I miss this drama of real life. When you're in German, life is structured. In the morning, you're supposed to be at work at 8, you leave work at 4. You come back, you eat at 6. You go to bed at 11 or 12. You wake up at 5. In Uganda, I go to work when it rains in between. I call my boss, it is raining. Don't you see the rain? So there is no coming for work because it is raining. I used to teach in high school, and when it rained, I could call my boss. It is raining. I can't teach the class right now. And they wouldn't be annoyed because even the children have to walk to school. So it's raining. So they are also not coming to school. That is the chaos. That's the real natural life. I don't know whether you don't miss such chaos, such culture where everything is disorganized, but at the end of the day, everyone fits in the disorganization.
I miss it so much. I miss Kampala. I miss Owino, where there are so many people. This one is yelling in your ear. This one, I miss it. I really miss that. But sometimes I create my chaos here. I come really. I have so many things to do at the same time because this is how I used to operate when I was at home. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. I really do miss that sometimes. Yeah. I do miss it. Yeah.
Yeah. So since that you miss chaos and you miss disorganization, well, why don't we close this episode right now?
Yes.
Yeah, my dear listener, thank you so much for being part of this wonderful conversation. Yeah. So you can say bye to the dear listeners, bye to the listeners. Yeah, and maybe you can tell them some advice towards culture, expectations, and maybe culture shocks, what they should not expect a lot, or maybe how can they deal with these culture shocks when they move to new countries.
Well, our dear listeners, the good people, thank you so much for listening. The last word would be from me. I would say that I think that it's very good if you go to a country, any country, doesn't matter which country, be open-minded. Just stay open-minded, expect anything. If it is a shock, try to understand, have understanding for the people who live there or for the people who come from there. Because if you imagine that these people are coming to your country, they will also be shocked in one way or the other. And yeah, I remember when I took a friend of mine, I went with her to Uganda. She was shocked, highly shocked of the chaos because she comes from Germany where everything is structured. And yeah, I told her before we went, I told her, hey, you know what? Be open-minded, expect anything. People are not on time. So just be flexible, especially just be flexible that you can switch from this to the other plan just like that. But be open-minded, try new things, enjoy your time wherever you're going.
Yeah. Learn to eat soup.
Learn to eat soup and eintop.
Yes, my dear listeners, I want to say bye for now. It has been me, Otako, your host, on Hear My True Story podcast. I hope to have you again next week, and I hope that you enjoyed this wonderful conversation with Carol J. the Myth and Otako. And I'd like to say bye for now. Don't forget to be integrated in each other country wherever you go, because it's good to be open-minded, just like the way Carol said, and to try out new things and try to live the chaos of the moment.
Yes. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Thank you, my dear listeners. We are always happy to have you.
We not only have voices for a podcast, but also faces for YouTube. Don't miss your next episode. Hear my true story.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Music by Edwin Matovo, hosted and produced by Otako. Subscribe to our podcast for more stories and visit us on our website, hearmytruestory.com, for more stories. All the links are listed in the show notes of this podcast.